What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Actually Good Coffee Podcast, the show we discuss all things coffee related, all while I drink a cup of coffee. I took a little holiday break for the past couple of weeks. I just took time away from the podcast, but we are back with a absolute whirlwind of an episode. The recent labor actions involving Starbucks employees across the United States. To put it simply, Starbucks union workers have gone on another union strike. You might have heard about this one. It actually did end right before Christmas. I think it was on Christmas Eve, but I just wanted to go into a little bit of detail on this topic because I feel like I see a lot of this going on within the coffee industry and you never really see what all the actual details are. You just hear about the after effects. Let's just jump right into it. Over the past week, Starbucks faced significant labor unrest as thousands of its employees participated in strikes nationwide. These actions culminated in a 5-day strike, with workers expected to return to their roles on Christmas Day. Just as a little bit of background, the strikes were organized by Starbucks Workers United, a union representing over 10,000 baristas across 525 U.S. locations. The primary grievances cited by the union included unfair labor practices, allegations that Starbucks failed to honor commitments to improve collective bargaining and resolve legal disputes, stalled negotiations, claims that the company had not presented serious economic proposals, particularly concerning wage increases. The labor action was extensive, with over 5,000 workers participating in more than 300 Starbucks locations affected nationwide. The timing of the strike was strategic, coinciding with the days leading up to Christmas, traditionally one of Starbucks' busiest periods. If you did not get your peppermint mocha this season, this might have been why. And Starbucks workers had expresses readiness to return to the bargaining table, emphasizing the need for higher wages and improved benefits. The union criticized the company's proposed economic package, which allegedly offered no immediate wage increases for union baristas and guaranteed only 1.5% increase in future years, among less than 50 cents an hour. Calls for better benefits and working conditions were central to the union's demands. Union representatives highlighted the disparity between barista wages and executive compensation, noting that the CEO's compensation package is significantly higher than the median hourly wage for a barista. One barista says, "I am paid $15.49 an hour as a barista, while Starbucks CEO Brian Nichols' compensation package has been valued at more than $50,000 an hour when you break it down." Coming from Sarah Kelly, Executive Vice President and Chief Partner Officer for Starbucks. This might be a little bit biased, but this is just how this thing goes. Starbucks maintained that the impact of the strikes was minimal and not going to affect operations in a significant way. She states that the majority of its stores, 97 to 99%, remained operational during the strike period. The company also contended that the union's demands for wage increases were unsustainable, citing proposals for a 64% immediate increase in the minimum wage and a 77% increase over a 3-year contract. That's okay. Sarah explained how proposals like these are not sustainable, especially when the investments Starbucks continually makes to their total benefits package are the hallmarks of what differentiates them as an employer. Currently, Starbucks offers an existing benefits package, which includes an average wage of over $18 per hour, healthcare, free college tuition, paid family leave, and stock grants. Sarah mentioned Starbucks is committed to reaching an agreement and is willing to return to the bargaining table, claiming the union was the one to cut off negotiations last week. It is disappointing that they didn't return to the table given the progress we've made to date. Since April, we've held more than 9 bargaining sessions over 20 days. According to a statement from the company, we've reached over 30 meaningful agreements on hundreds of topics Workers United delegates told us were important to them, including many economic issues. As of Christmas 2024, so it's a little bit outdated, striking workers have returned to their positions. The union has expressed its intention to strategize further in the coming days to achieve its goals of higher wages and improved benefits. Both parties have indicated a willingness to resume negotiations, though significant differences remain. As discussions continue, the outcomes will likely have significant implications for labor relations within the company and potentially set precedents for the border service industry. So listen, I think there's multiple factors at play that might be important to go over. The first is when we're talking about Brian Nichols' compensation package, $50,000 an hour. That's a obscene amount of money. That's a lot of money. But what you also have to remember is that Brian Niccol has a track record of single-handedly revitalizing multiple large corporations. There's Pizza Hut, Taco Bell, Chipotle was recently valued at 9 times the market value when Brian Niccol first came into position at that company. Somehow he's still holding that position. I'm not sure, but somehow they're still willing to pay him whatever money he wants because he was shown a major improvement in that company itself. Now Starbucks wants to see what happens. So everybody's kind of holding their breath to see if he's able to bring this company back, since it just had one of the worst performing years in its history. When we're talking about a 77% increase over 3 years and a 64% immediate increase in the minimum wage, if you think $50,000 is an obscene amount of money, the amount of money that's going to cost Starbucks, I'm not even sure. Hold on, all right, so 300 Starbucks locations is responsible for about 1 to 3% of the total Starbucks marketplace. I'm not sure how many stores is that. That's about 16,000 stores. I think a lot more. If we're going to average 5 to 10 employees per location, seeing a 64% increase in their minimum wage, which I believe it's $15.49. Hold on, let me just do the math really quick. 64%, it's about $10. So the minimum wage comes out to be about $25.40 after that immediate minimum wage increase. So if we're saying it's $10 immediate increase for each worker for all responsible Starbucks locations, 1,600,000. Is that right? Okay, 1,600,000 per hour for every single employee immediately. Again, I don't know how that's realistic. To be paid $25 an hour minimum wage is a great idea, but paying an additional $1.6 million in total per hour, I just don't know how that's realistic. I guess that might be the strategy of a lot of union arguments. I've never been a part of a union, so I'm not sure, but I'm assuming that when arguing for higher wages, you discuss a percentage that's much higher than the one that's expected, and then you kind of fall somewhere in the middle, you compromise with a percentage. And then the last thing that I want to talk about is that the union was the one to cut off negotiations. If I was a betting man, I would have to guess that this strike act was more of a way to show face in this situation. It was more of a statement to make during this time of year, considering it's one of the busiest years for Starbucks. It seemed like they were the ones to cut off negotiations when things were going well. I don't know how this is going to help them. I think it's probably going to backfire, but who knows? We're just going to have to wait and see. Thank you all for listening. I really do appreciate it. Maybe this year for your New Year's resolution, you can start buying coffee from a specialty coffee roastery where their employees get paid pretty well. And I can't imagine a world where they go on strike during the holidays coming up. I'm talking, of course, about Made in Coffee. But again, thank you all again for listening. I really do appreciate it. And I will talk to you all again very soon.